Bring you guys this game here between Virtus Pro and Evil Geniuses. This is game 3 of the best of 3 series. Gonna be concluding for today. This is the lower bracket. To start us off, Virtus Pro or Evil Geniuses. This game will decide who is eliminated, who is taking home $1,000, who is going to be going up against their further opponents to get much more. All comes down to this here. Worked hard to get here. 7 cups, starting it off to qualify for this position, and now they are going at it. So, Evil Geniuses starting their draft off. They're going to ban out the Gyrocopter, the Darkseer. Virtus Pro get to take out the Wisp and whatever else their heart desires. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. I'm Blaze. Here's my co-caster, Triumphant Man. What's going on?
Yeah, waiting to see what EG pick up this time. Of course, we're back in the Luxembourg, so we'll see what they go for. Now, we do have some of the more standard heroes banned out. And look at this. First pick, Nature's Prophet again. And it teaches teams to go for this non-stop. And this is going to keep it away from Virtus Pro. I feel like A, it's a good pick, and B, you want to keep it away from KSL when he's on the die side, because we've seen exactly what shenanigans he gets up to when he's using those minions to block the camp and just generally be frustrating. And of course, he generally gets a recovery minus 10, 12 minutes in, picks it up, and then catches right up. But Virtus Pro now, their turn to pick up, and I'm expecting a couple of supports to come out. Obviously, the common stuff we've been seeing is just they go straight for stuff like Visage, as well as stuff like Bane. It's just pretty damn common from them.
I could see a Disruptor getting its way into the works, though, because NS does love that hero, and it's so darn good against Prophet as well. Because Bambo's Prophet isn't anywhere near the same thing as KSI's Prophet. Obviously, the same hero, same skills, same potential, but the way Bambo plays it is a lot more active on the map. He likes to be aggressive, he likes to try to set up additional kill potential, and then transition to a push. So, yeah, I definitely could see them looking in towards something like that. Otherwise, just kind of go for the tried and true. Alchemist to start us off, of course, being either a carry or a support, as NS has shown us last time around, and that wild card alone puts Evil Geniuses on their toes.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they have in mind instead. Second pick coming up, though. I mean, they could quite happily pick up another stun, pick up a Shrek, pick up a Lena, and they would just EG, especially with the memory of that last match in their mind. It was like, well, got absolutely no idea what they could be doing there. And this is probably the most solid thing you could do with the second series of picks. Just pick a lineup that fits. Can basically adapt and evolve as you go. Don't want to be picking up those heroes that have a very specific mindset or a very specific counter and very easy to sort of draft against. As we both these games have just been like a series of counter drafts. And there we go with Bane and Alchemist. And again, this could be 2 sets of supports or it could be a carrying support. No way to tell. But yeah, game 1, that last draft of the Broodmother really caused so much trouble for Virtus Pro. I'm going to say just pretty much 1 EG that game. And the second game, just the way they built that draft with the rotations, with the fact that they were able to just blast those lines apart, with those lanes apart, with the rotating supports, just so problematic for Evil Geniuses to deal with. And at no point did they ever get the upper hand. It was just a continual snowball out of control in Virtus Pro's favor.
So, as far as this banning phase coming across, we are, of course, going to be seeing the opportunity for Dire to go for the first pick on the next phase, and one big aspect of that is going to be the Keeper Light. Do they want to keep it in the pool? Does the Bane Alchemist tri-lane want to get it? Does the Visage tri-lane want to get it? Keeper Light has been a very popular hero between these two teams. Generally speaking, he's been picked every time. I don't think he's been banned, but either way, he is very commonly seen in this matchup here. And both heroes respecting its potential to control the lane effectively, and also has a number of great tools when it comes down to getting to that mid to late game. But at least for now, gonna ban out the Obsidian Devourer, or Destroyer, or whatever the heck he's called these days, and the Anti-Mage as well, and kind of just take a couple big things off the board. Primarily looking for fierce carries of choice, and making sure that that's not going to be an option for him, as that's one thing Virtus Pro can be certain of. They do not have their carry, and they still have to wait it out to try to take another one off the board. If you were in Evil Genius's position right here, what would you look into banning?
I think Keeper Light would be a solid ban, partially because it would fit well with the Alchemist and Bane. With the Dire side, because you pick up Keeper Light for the Dire side, it's so damn easy. Although, there we go. I mean, I guess they've been watching exactly what KSI's been doing with Timbersaw. But yeah, you pick up the Keeper Light on the Dire side, it's so easy to stack and pull from the easy camp, and because you've got the Alchemist there, if you're sending up a soft lane against it, like the Nature's Prophet, Alchemist can look after himself there just fine with the help of Bane. Bane can pull as well with the Keeper Light. They can just get so much farm out of that. And of course, once Alchemist starts getting out of control with some free farm, he is so hard to catch up to. But it looks like pretty much the entire anti-fun core has been banned out with the exception of Treant. Although I almost put Nature's Prophet in there just because he's just such a pain in the ass when it comes to pushing. You're pushing while he's trying to take a rack, so you can never do anything. You've always got to fall back and TP out, and then he just TPs out, and there's no fight. But, I suppose Nagasiren's in there still. But yeah, with Cancer Lancer as well as an anti-mage out, this EG, they are definitely looking for some kind of hard carry. Then again, I kind of miss the days of when we used to see the American teams run a whole lot of stuff like Juggernaut to go for those really aggressive early lineups, but haven't seen any of those in a while. In fact, Juggernaut's just sort of disappeared entirely. But anyway.
Yeah. It used to be really popular with the potential for Lone Druid combined with the Juggernaut, the healing ward really effective, but with Lone Druid kind of falling on out and them not really requiring the Juggernaut in that meta setup, it's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. Along with that, I was just reading an article on Reddit, and there is a bug currently as far as how compared to Dota 1 and Dota 2, how it's supposed to interact and how it does interact and how it actually has slightly less potential, at least at the moment. But either way, he's still very strong here on the right hands, but not seeing it come on through here. Instead, we're going to see the Clockwork picked up and in turn the Bounty Hunter. Picking up their offlane heroes, presumably anyways. Clockwork can work with Bane pretty well if they do want to try to run in a tri-lane, but either way, a lot of potential to go on the offlane. Clockwork and Bounty Hunter are very survivable heroes, but also great for roaming as soon as level 6 comes into play with the initiation of Hookshot or with the extra gold bounty from Bounty Hunter, which just really incites Visage and Nature's Prophet to get that extra core item up just a few minutes early. So really, really important for them to Evil Geniuses to focus on kills, but it still doesn't show their hand as far as how they want to play out the rest of their trial, and I think that's a pretty good drafting strategy there, though of course Virtus Pro will know to pick up item-independent support so that they can keep detection on the field. Not that they wouldn't have done that already in case Bambo went for the Lothars.
I think we're also like this. Also depends how EG, or rather how Virtus Pro plan to line this up in terms of lanes, because we've got Nature's Prophet there. Now keep in mind, back in the past we have seen this is back when Alliance were no Tidehunter. They actually did a couple of times run the Bounty Hunter solo mid. It did require a fair amount of pulling. They'd started him off with a poor man's shield, then rolled him out with the pawn. But now because we've got things like Clockwork, if they suspect Clockwork is mid, there is a good chance BH can handle that by himself, even without pulling items. Especially with Chen pickup, it's looking more and more likely unless the last pick winds up being an Alcus. But against, it's still pretty flexible. They can throw Bounty Hunter in the offlane, put Nature's Prophet in the safe lane if necessary. So, they could roll this around a lot of different ways. And with Chen being picked up, I think this Spectre pick is fairly safe just because they don't have to worry as badly about immediate ganks or even like an immediate offensive try and coming in and jumping on Spectre. Sure, around the 4-minute mark, Chen can rock up with a smoke, can show up there with a couple of creeps and try and put some damage on it. But she's got a few levels in, she's a bit tankier, she's got Spectral Dagger, can try and get out of trouble. So she's got a good chance of getting away, especially with the help of Visage.
Yeah.
But I'm almost wondering. I feel like this could potentially be solo mid Bounty Hunter again, but it really depends on Virtus Pro's final pick. And whether or not, if we see a rotation here from Alchemist. Alchemist, again, it's a melee mid against Bounty Hunter. He can handle that, except for the Acid Spray. The Acid Spray is a bit much, because the physical damage he takes from the auto-attack harass plus the constant drain is it's really, really painful.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it plays itself out, but like you said, the Chen indicates a defensive 2.5 lane, and I think it's a really good response from Evil Geniuses that they immediately said, okay, well, not under pressure, let's pick something that is a little bit more scalable, even if it's not as effective early game, and they go with the Spectre there, and even if they're up against a Clockwork in the offlane, which seems to be the case here, there's not really too much to be afraid of. So they get the final support, they get a Venomancer to accompany the Visage, and they're going to be able to run either Jo or Demons. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess it's going to be Prophet mid? I don't know. I really don't know, actually, because Bounty Hunter...
It could be. Prophet does fine in mid, and you can put him there.
Yeah.
He'll work okay. If you really want to put the Bounty Hunter in the offlane, just depends what they feel like, I guess.
Yeah. They've switched up their roles quite a bit. Evil Geniuses used to have Bambo always on the offlane, and he was really, really good with the Prophet, and now he's switching up to the Visage, and, of course, Fears, of course, now on carry role. So there's just been so many different switches back and forth, and I'm kind of curious to see how it plays itself out. But Demon on the Bounty Hunter, is this the EG throw?
I don't know. Back in the day, Demon used to play a lot of solo mid as well. Like you see him, the Batrider running that mid lane, so could be. It's hard to tell. It could go either way. Nature's Prophet also used to wind up in the mid every now and then as well. He's a hero. You stick him just about anywhere you want. He's flexible. It's one of the good things about him, but it really depends what they feel like.
Yep. So just going over the lineups real quick, looking over at Evil Geniuses, we do see that Fear has picked up the Spectre, is going to be carrying that on up, whereas Demon is going to be the one running the Bounty Hunter and selling that up off lane. So then we're going to see...
He's got the counter ward, so he's probably going off lane.
Sure. And then on top of that, we're going to be seeing Jo, and he's going to be playing on the Nature's Prophet. Right now, it doesn't look like a jungle build, so I would presume that's in the mid lane. And along with that, they do have Bdiz on the Venomancer supporting it up downstairs. And then finally, it's going to be Sexy Bambo supporting on the Visage.
Actually, this might actually be a mid. This might actually be a mid bounty hunter. They might have just given him the wards. He may actually be playing to block the Chen camps and just mess him up.
Yeah.
I think because okay. A normally solo mid bounty hunter, you wouldn't pick up the Windwalk throw, but he's using this just to safely get in and block. So no, this will work out just fine as well.
Sure. Do you want to go over the Virtus Pro lineup real quick?
Sure, I'll go over that right now. So we've got NS, no surprise, playing Chen. Illidan going to be playing the Alchemist, so that'll probably be their safe lane farmer. KSI on the Clockwork. Tamar Wild on the Dragon Knight. And we've got Arsart there on the Bane. So yeah, this looks like the solo mid Dragon Knight. And Bounty Hunter can handle this. Like, obviously, he's not going to shut down the Dragon Knight farm. There's probably no hope of that. He's not going to get killed, but that's okay, because he's just looking for his own early levels. He's just going to pick that up and then start rolling with the ganks. And once they start getting those ganks rolling, especially when Spectre, if she shows up for a track gank, that's a really, really big boost.
I think NS might have just barely seen what... Nah, they're going to see him definitely now, so they know that he was there. They're most likely going to try to go for some D wards of their own, because NS does have the sentries available upon his own person. So, yeah, I think that's going to be their main intention. Meanwhile, some rotation going on. Bdiz picks up the remaining sentry ward. He's going to take that, snatch it up, and take that back bottom lane, whereas Jail's doing some amazing blocking in the mid, but just going to meet in the middle as Team W kind of matches him point for point. So Dragon Knight starting off with a Quelling Blade and of course his Breathe Fire is going to enable him to farm up the creeps very effectively, but the fact that he doesn't have a Stout Shield means these Treants and Jo himself are going to be able to harass the crap out of DK, and Demon up on top. Pretty bad spot for him to be in. Dust on up, and the Nightmare is going to be enough to finish him off here. So yeah, they do get the first blood, and that is going to be plenty of cash for Arzart to start things off.
Unfortunately, yeah, they saw him come up there. That ward paying dividends there will get them the first play. And yeah, interesting, they actually ended up rotating again. Jo are going to take that solo mid. And again, like Jo, solo mid with the Nature's Prophets worked just fine. And he can actually put a fair amount of harass on the Dragon Knight, because early on he doesn't have the creep killing power to clean up these Treants. So pretty much he's without a shield as well. He's opened up with a hatchet. So with a Quelling Blade, so he's going to take a lot of harassment. Sure, the Dragon's Blood is great, but it really does not stand up to constant harassment, especially at low levels.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that Jo's like not missed a single time uphill for multiple auto attacks is actually really beneficial for him as well. So Team W is going to burn through regen pretty hard. Dragon's Blood will certainly help, but if he doesn't get his bottle soon, Team W is going to have some trouble. Down at bottom, looking for a Gale. Bdiz wants to close in, but yeah, KSI's cogs are going to make him relatively safe. Venomancer's auto attack range isn't substantial, and the same thing can be said, just the fact that Visage has a hard time closing on in. So I think the cogs will keep him relatively safe, but right now not finding too much as far as farm goes. Actually up top, Demon just staring Bane in the face, messing with him a little bit, and then making sure that the stack will be unsuccessful.
And then we Dragon Knight, he's got level 2 Breathe Fire, but again, it's just not enough to help deal with these at all. Does have the bottle now, though, and of course he sees the Runes Throw. We'll pick up a DD, and I think I hear Demon in some serious trouble. He's been dusted up as well, oh boy. Oh wow, no, he'll actually cut his way free, and I think Parthy might have screwed them up there. Illidan ends up going the long way around, and they will not actually pick up this kill.
Yeah. But down bottom, their kill was successful onto KSI. They were able to land the Gale, and that is just such a big deal to start things off. So, big slow, successful kill, and Feared, although taking some cog harassment, is a little bit richer for it. The Visage was the one to take the last hit on that. And meanwhile, Demon still surviving as best he can. Poor man's shield, though, he has burned through one full set of tangos.
I think this really sucks for KSI, because the supports that he's got on his team really doesn't lend him to being able to get some AD backup really quickly. And this is going to, like, he's going to be punished by the Desolate for this a lot. This means that Fear, because he knows you're not going to see Chen rotate early. You're not going to see the, like, even if Bane rotates early, he's not really going to do a whole lot. He's not a really huge threat, because he doesn't have good lockdown. So it's quite possible for Spectre to go, you know what, let me just walk up to here in KSI and just maul him with Desolate. And then, of course, he's always got Spectral Dagger if he needs to get out of trouble. But in this case, he's actually kind of low on mana, so he'll have to play a little bit more defensively now. But Desolate is really, really going to tear KSI to shreds. Is he yes, he is trying to do this. It's a bit of a cute trick, but it doesn't actually pull it off successfully. He's only going to grab one creep in the siege.
I mean, that siege creep still does a heck of a lot of damage, and he can hold it here at hostage as long as he wants to. Until KSI leaves the spot, the creeps don't have to. So this will kind of bunch it up nicely, and at the very least, force the lane forward for a short time period so that he can at least get one full wave before it starts pushing out the other way.
Yeah, but he's going to grab another one here. Yeah, there we go. He grabs three. The problem is because you're meant to cut one of these trees up here normally because he almost messes up and lets a whole bunch there. One of them gets free. The point is to cut a few of these trees so they have room to start running around in circles up there. So they've got the pathing, and he hasn't actually done that. So it is sort of messing him up a little bit and really risky. But it doesn't matter. He says, you know what, the wave's here, just moving out. It's going to work out regardless. You know, DD has been popped in the mid lane by the Dragon Knight. Bounty Hunter, he's trying to sneak in these kills here, and there we go. He's actually going to sneak in a Centaur kill, which is good for him. He does need it indeed. And he's going to win walk out. I think they're out of detection. Oh, they've got one more counter ward left, but they're going to be careful with their place because they want to block off this camp.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's no sure kill for him in this situation. Nightmare and Concoction would do a lot of damage and a lot of disable, but he's sitting on full health, and Bounty Hunter actually has alarmingly a large amount of base armor. He's currently sitting at 7 armor, so that composite damage and the right clicks, that'll be deafened quite effectively. 32% resistance to physical, so that's a pretty big deal. We do see Jay going for a TP, gonna go down bottom where they're looking for the kill on KSI, but unfortunately, they actually don't have a single disable. Literally, other than Shuriken, they don't have a single stone on the entire team. So TP scrolls is going to be easy escapes for VP, generally speaking. Though we do see now a Dire Sentry Ward dropping down, Nightmare up, Concoction charging. They're going to get some right-click damage, but I don't think they can get the Chen Creep to stun. They get the Brain Sap, they get the Test of Fate, though, and that's going to be enough to finish him off.
Demon really not having much fun up in this top lane indeed. He's getting, I mean, they have brought, like, that's what, the second set of dust plus second, like, brought like 2 sets of wards to gank him as well. Yeah, they've really got their eyes set on shutting down Demon quite hard. And yeah, until level 6 for Visage, they really don't have a lot of, like, they have no way to disable, but I don't think it's a huge problem for them, because they're looking for late game anyway. I mean, they've got the big damage here, like, Vita's actually, wow. This is like back in the day when we actually used to see a lot of Venomancer played, we'd see pretty much without doubt one in Gale, one in Sting, and then maxed out Poison Wards. We've actually got a second level in Venomous Gale.
Yeah, very interesting point. Yeah, it doesn't really do much more as far as slowing, it just really increases the damage there, so kind of going for an AoE damage output. Now, one of the things that I didn't get a chance to talk about was the reason for picking up Venomancer at all, and this lineup here, and most of it has to do with the kill potential of Visage and that gradual build-up. If you get that ultimate off on multiple heroes, guaranteed every single cooldown, your soul assumption is going to be max souls, because it's just so much damage, even if it does take a while to get going. So you get a little bit of gradual damage over time, and then you back it up with a huge a knockout punch. And with track kills, that's going to be able to actually get a lot of great results for them over and over and over again. Now we do see Bane, Smoke getting dispelled up on towards the mid lane, but in general, Demon, I'm not sure. He really wants to farm up, but in this position, it's going to be a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, and they've actually finally moved, like, they've rotated. I feel like they almost should have started out like this, given how badly the Demon got off. The bigger problem is not so much like he's got no money. The bigger problem is it's 7 minutes in and he's still level 4. Like, this is a hero that they wanted to have a high impact. They want to be ganking, they want to be setting up track kills, they want to be doing stuff. And the fact that he's so far behind now is going to hurt. Whereas, they could have just sacrificed at top lane, because they've done pretty much nothing to impact Alchemist's farm. He's sitting on 41 CS. He's gone for the full Greevil's Greed, so he had no impact up there at all.
Janata going to come out on TMW. They also get some Wrath of Nature damage. Looking for a Sprout, but he, of course, has that Quelling Blade. It's just going to go for a full body block. He's going to go into the northwest and dodge out the Gale. If the Gale connected, he'd be a dead man, but instead it's going to be a Plague Ward plus Treant to block out. He cannot get through this narrow corridor. Perfect positioning of that little Treant. And most importantly, I think it was Beataz with the best Plague Ward, just locking him in place. Now down on bottom, KSI will be brought down. Courier might be with him. No, the right clicks are going to be enough. That's going to be a lot of cash flow going out, as well as a bottle. KSI's Clockwork is going to be without that for quite some time. So unfortunate for him. And along with that, of course, he did get dropped down. So really, really good for EG. Everything about the last 30 seconds has all gone up them.
You know, I was going to say, Beat is definitely made up for missing the gun. I mean, he was shooting it at a 340 MS Dragonite, managed to miss that. So definitely good recovery there with the Plague Ward blocking that off. But Demon has again rotated the top lane and still does not have level 6, unfortunately. Whereas Bane is in fact pretty much the same experience level as him. They still have dust too. Oh dear.
Yeah. Dangerous position to be in. I honestly feel that Demon shouldn't be up here. I mean, yes, it means that you're probably going to lose the tier 1 tower, but if he was just staying a little bit... The mid lane is currently empty, and if he was staying there for a moment longer, then he would have that track, and they would be able to actually get a lot of benefit from finding those pickoffs.
I mean, yeah, you're stopping the tier 1 top from being pushed, but you're leaving the tier 1 mid exposed, and Joe's not even using the mid lane, he's farming the jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
But regardless, we've got Illidan now pushing the top lane here. Demon, I mean, he can't even do anything. He comes out there, he's just getting killed.
At least he's getting experience on the tower, so that's not the worst thing in the world, considering they haven't been pulling in the past few minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a thought, like, he could have stayed minuted, but at the very least, yeah, 2 waves for the Spirit's fair enough, then he's going to grab that. Just they probably should have rotated Joe back to mid a little bit faster.
Either way, he's going to get some nice cash. Going for the Nye. Team W going to try to snipe it from him. One right click. No, Team W is going to get it. I don't even know why Jo decided to go for that right click. I believe that Team W didn't have enough to finish it off. And Corrosive, I'm actually not so sure. Corrosive, the damage over time, is non-fatal to heroes. I believe that would mean it's non-fatal to towers, but I couldn't guarantee that. So, either way, Jo making the A click that cost them a tower.
Illidan, wow. They're going to have to do something about this Alchemist. He is going to be so fat. He's got maxed out greed. He has a Midas before the 10-minute mark. I think he might have actually gone Treads first, but yeah, he is definitely going to be extremely rich. Demon's going to come up here, but not really going to have much impact at all there.
There are familiars coming on out, but I don't think that's going to make it enough. Even track movement speed on familiars is really good, but unless they get the Prophet TP, they're actually not going to be able to get this kill, and especially if he pops his ulti. Coming on in, though, they pop off Spectre. They're going to be able to get the dagger slow, and that should be enough. Gale comes out, and everybody just comes out of the woodwork. Suddenly, entire team. 4 people up on the top lane, ready to go, possibly for a push up on the top tier 1.
Probably, if I were Alchemist, I'd just be flipped up. Go, how is that fair? How is that fair at all? But there we go. The push now coming out from EG. I think this is good. The fact that they're going, all right, 4-man gank and now push, 4-man track gank and now we push. Grab a quick tower, and this will hopefully open them up with the mobility for picking off kills against Alchemist, especially once Jao gets an item. If Jao can pick up an early item, once he gets out the Hex or even the Shadow Blade, maybe, if they can jump up here and just keep ganking Alchemist every time he pops out to farm, spotting him up there, they'll be able to bring, they'll be able to get themselves a ton of cash on that, but also shut down Illidan, which, I mean, they need to badly. He's almost got enough for his Claymore, as Beat is likely to get cleaned up here, getting top a short duration there on the concoction. He's level 3 though, he's probably going to get chopped to bits now. Illidan's going to slash away at him and then finish him off there, and so we're going to see the familiars try and stun them up. Not really going to have much effect at all. Beaters doesn't get cleaned up in the end. In fact, they might even give away a little bit of bird gold. No, nobody's really giving chase to them. They'll just let them go.
But Jayo still got out of there, and that was actually pretty impressive. He got stunned up, but so good movement from the Centaur clap and then the familiars. Actually, that wasn't their Centaur, was it? No, okay, then either way, they still got the Centaur, the familiar stun, and that's really important for actually getting him on out of there. So with that, they're still going to take the tier 1 tower, but they are going to trade it 1 for 1, and they kept the Prophet alive, which allows them to do that.
Yeah, like the tier 1 top tower is not as big a deal, and at the same time, I mean, they lose the tier 1 mid. So in the end, I feel this is working out for EG. The question is either team going to defend or are they just going to trade tier 2s? It looks like Virtus Pro don't give a damn. They say, you know what, you have our tier 2 mid, we'll take your tier 2 top. And the thing is, like, the towers that go down for Virtus Pro makes it a lot harder for them to reinforce. On the other hand, for EG, sure, towers make it more difficult for a little bit of reinforcement, but they always have that global aspect of Spectre as well as Nature's Prophet. So they can get to the fights as they need to and quite easily turn them around. Yeah. Whereas Virtus Pro don't have that same luxury. Virtus Pro, you know, say, you know what, just keep pushing, just keep going. We've got Dragonfall, we can do a ton of damage down. We've got Chain Creep. You've got to come back and stop this. You've got to do something. In fact, do they have TPs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are getting back.
Okay, so they are taking their time getting on back there. But yeah, the Corrosive Dot, I mean, even if they lose like 2 or 3 heroes here, the amount of damage they've done to the tier 3 has already put them so far ahead. And actually, he dodges out the Soul Assumption with his ultimate. Really nice move by Illidan. I'm not sure if it's intentional, but either way, he's going to get on out of here with the Test of Faith. And KSI even will finish off Jo. No, he tries to go for the Cogs with the Rocket Flare on cooldown. Meanwhile, up top, TMW is going to get locked down. That is a track kill. So that is a lot of cash heading in Spectre's fingertips there. But beyond that, the damage to tier 3 was very substantial. Corrosive Breath doing work.
Here we go, Fear going to roll in there. In fact, they're probably actually going to get KSI here as well. Soul Assumption to finish there. Visage can take it yet another. So that's what, 2-3 track kills in a row? And they've all got 4-5 of them clustered around it too. Let me just check that gold swing. And VP, they got 2 towers there. It was looking good, but combine those track kills. I mean, both teams traded for a pair of towers there. There's a big swing back with those tracks kicking in. See Illidan though, of course, the man. Like this is probably EG's biggest fear. The fact that Illidan is pretty much farming unopposed, and of course he's got that huge accelerant for his farm. the form of both Midas and Grievous Grid. It's going to slow him down a little bit, but I mean, look at this. He's got a Midas, got a Shadow Blade at nearly 14 minutes in.
Yeah.
And then another 600 gold. He is going to become very, very scary in the next 20 minutes.
Even so, Alchemist may farm very fast, but Fear gets more out of the items that he picks up. A 6-slotted Spectre is so much more scary than a 6-slotted Alchemist, and in this case, Spectre is going to have not only drums and phase, but looks like he's moving in towards a Vanguard, which will give him some much-needed durability in the midst of these engagements.
I'm just waiting. Chat's going to freak out in a minute and go, holy shit, why is he building Spectre with a Vanguard? And believe it or not, this is actually somewhat common. In competitive games, Vanguard Spectre is still semi-common. Like, it's not always a Vanguard rush, but teams like DK, they'll still do it. And it works out fairly well. It does actually work out fairly well. The main thing is, A, it helps Spectre survive in the fights, obviously. And the other thing is, of course, the fact that it gives him options. The fact that if he comes under a ton of pressure, he can now utilize his jungle. Whereas without it, he cannot farm the jungle safely by himself at all.
Yeah.
And with the rate the tower's getting dropped, like, this is possibly going to become something he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, that the Vitality Booster is one of the most efficient items when it comes down to dispersion, and even if it doesn't help your illusions, it still provides you individually a lot more potential to survive and therefore keep farming. And you're going to have the Stout Shield anyways, so really, all you're going to be picking up there is the Ring of Health, and that can be nice. Actually, B does his positioning. Holy crap, he came out of nowhere, gets the Gale off and the Nova, and that means Bambo can go in for all these soul assumptions, whereas here goes Spectre dropping off. Where's that dagger going on through? That Hand of God is going to do absolutely nothing here with so much damage coming out. That Desolate going across is going to be enough to bring down NS, turning focus over to Illidan and TMW. Fear, a little bit afraid of that stun, dodges it out though, and now he can go hardcore onto TMW. Dragon Tail onto Demon. Demon will fall, but TMW will drop, and now Illidan is all by himself. Shadow Blade comes on out though, and I don't think they have the detection for it, so nicely done by both sides, but the track's adding up along with the fact that Spectre got a couple of those skills, and I think EG are happy for that trade.
That, and I think KSI bought back there. Yeah, he did. Clockwork bought back into that fight there, so he's just showing back up. And yeah, I think that was pretty costly for us, but like you mentioned, the track, the fact, like, you have a bounty hunter team, you can trade kills, especially if you don't lose the carry. That's a huge, huge advantage for you. And of course, they held off the tier 2 push successfully, although it looks like it's going to be repushed, but of course, at the cost of a buyback. Or maybe not even that, because Clockwork's being chased up pretty bad. He even gets hit there by the Gale. This is bad for them indeed. Looks like Clockwork's going to give away another track kill in as many minutes. Like in 1 minute, he gives away 2 track kills. We see the Fiend script there on Fear. Fear though is again that Vanguard making him durable. He can tank this. Gets healed up there. He's going to keep pushing forwards. And again, another track goes out there after Chen. Chen is easy food. They will bring down Bane as well. Also Visage getting cleaned up as well. But another track kill gets given out. And then immediately ports top.
Yeah. NS, he dropped off the Test of Faith defensively to get Alchemist on out there, and then got a successful offensive one on Visage, but still the fact that he's just feeding more and more into the Spectre's hands really doesn't make the situation any better. Right now, net worth 7,700 on Prophet, 7,600 on the Mercurial Spectre. So with that, the Alchemist is, yeah, of course, ahead on net worth. He's sitting at 2,400 gold bank. We'll probably move in towards something like AC pretty soon. But Spectre will be moving in towards that next core item, and even if it's something as simple as a Diffusal Blade, she's going to be putting out a hell of a lot of damage very, very quickly.
This is true indeed, but I'm just looking. Obviously, Illidan's getting far. He's got another 2,400 gold. I'm just. Question is, does he go for Assault next?
I think so. I mean, it's either him or DK, but DK's got to work on Lothars right now.
Yeah. I feel like they probably need the Assault pretty quickly too, so they'll probably pick up. I mean, the only other option, of course, is that they pick up the BKB, which will help him deal with some of the, like, the burst magic damage coming out, as well as, obviously, the problems from Venomancer, because getting slowed down, like, getting pinned down in these fights with the slow is actually becoming quite aggravating for them, I feel.
Yeah.
Just because he can't get on point.
It almost feels like crappy to go up against a 0 disabled team and have to pick up a BKB just because of the friggin' magic damage.
In fact, he is.
Yeah.
He's picked up Mithril Hammer.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I mean, unless he's doing something crazy like a Deso.
I have not seen a Deso Alchemist in a long time.
That would be weird.
So, yeah. Oh, TMW finding great amount of farm here. Almost picked off the birds, too. Not going to find it, but still finding plenty of farm from the Ancients themselves. Actually, what are these familiars doing? Those are easy gold. 200 gold going to TMW. Wow. He's just skyrocketing up on GPM. He's going to find this full Ancient stack. Are they going to be able to actually stop him from finishing it off? Track comes out on TMW. Shuriken. There's going to be a Gale successful landing on him, but Test of Faith might get him on out of here. That was nice. Nightmare. Buys them time for the Test of Faith to take effect. He buys with Lothars. He gets on out of dodge, but KSI isn't done. Jumping on by himself. He's going to get cleaned up, and they don't even get a chance to finish off these Ancients. They just have to walk on away. So that was actually pretty unfortunate for EG, especially considering how many ultis they committed.
Yeah, I just... Why feed birds? Feed bird gold, I don't know. Bambo, too aggressive as usual, but he is actually pretty close to his item, so, I mean, now he'll have 3 birds to feed. Why the hell not? There you go. 3,500 gold away from finishing that. Tamo Waldo, his Shadow Blade is done, and this is where he gets really, really lethal. Although Chen has in fact given away the Roshan attempt, just of course, I don't think they can actually do anything about it though. Chen is up, Hand of God is up, and they don't have Spectre nor her ult to get in there. It's still a good 60-70 seconds on cooldown there. So I feel like Virtus.pro could get away with this, although that, with that in mind, they do have Venomous Gale as well as Poison Nova up, so that could cause some reason for them to pause, as it looks like they're going to move in there. Venomous Gale goes out, Poison Nova as well. It's going to hit a lot of heroes there. We're going to see some Soul Search. Bambo actually has to back up super quick. He's going to get away though. He's got the speed from both Grave Chill as well as the track, but a stun goes out on Demon as well as Fiend's Gripped. And there we go. Unfortunately, Hand of God a second too slow. Doesn't quite manage to save Alchemist. And we manage to see the big counterattack here. We've got a buyback there from Bounty Hunter. Spectre's now back on the mix, going to chop away at them. Then we've got a hook shot there. Bambo getting pinned down by a hook shot. Wrath of Nature comes through, but down goes Bambo. Track up on KSI. He's getting finished off by Bounty Hunter. Let's return to the fray. Again, I think in the end there, beneficial for EG. Track kills, plus, you know, they trade for an Alchemist.
Yeah, a little bit there. They definitely got what they wanted when they brought down the Alch, but in this position, they're still playing with fire. Like, I kind of feel like... actually, Demon might get stunned now. He's going to be alright. But I kind of feel like the strategy Bambo was doing, starting off with those Ancients, was the tying a string around a pile of money and just yanking it over and over and somebody chase it down. That whole cartoon sketch there is essentially what I think he was trying to do with the Dragonite, is pull him to the west in order to keep him there and make him susceptible to the gank. And yes, you got him to pay attention to the birds for a little bit, but the end result was a failed team fight. So glad they rebounded with this past one, I'm sure, but they still have a lot of ground to make up after that exchange.
This is definitely true. I should mention the Nature's Prophet though. It looks like he's on his way to that Hex. If you pick up the Hex, it's really going to give him some much needed punch. Along with, I need another good... right now, do we have the BKB up? No, still the distance, unless it's actually on the courier. I think actually no, it's on the courier. I was going to say, I mean, you hex him up while he's trying to get off his concoction. It's actually going to be fairly hilarious. You're going to see a lot of self-stuns there. But the birds now just continue to scout out Roshan. Probably going to give away some free gold in a second. No, he makes... oh wow, does some quick de-warding there with the birds. Gets away with it too. Nicely done there. Let the track up on our side, spotting everything up. And it looks like the Radiant side getting ready to potentially counter-engage. Jaro's not there, but he does have teleport in 3 seconds, so he can show up if necessary. And Fear has his ult up. So they can split up, keeping the 3 heroes, or actually rather 2 heroes keeping an eye on 1, actually pushing mid. Demon just getting a bit of farm there in mid as well. Just going to back up. He's spamming the track to make sure he can see what's going on. And the birds continue to skulk and lurk. In fact, uh-oh, JR may regret that.
Coming on in, they're going to get the kills to start off on the Bane, free track kill, and there's no retaliation. Concoction's actually going to stun out Illidan himself, though he will be under the cloak of invisibility. Now coming on in, there's plenty of wards to take care of if they do have sentries, but it doesn't seem to be their focus. They're going to move on over and look at Roshan really quickly. They do have Medallion up on Bambo, but they need their right clicks. Fear, not anywhere near, has to actually make his way there.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised Clockwork didn't hook to save there. I mean, he could have caused some trouble, but it looks like they're going to use Tamar or pick up Tamar while the birds are moving in. They're doing a ton of damage. Downey, wow. Wow, that's a big soul assumption. Going to slam him down. That's another 3 or 4 man track kill there, and I really feel like with DK down, they could definitely go and try and pick up this. Especially they have a counter ward down as well, so no shenanigans from Alchemist. They don't have to worry about that. Hand of God is up. So they do have some durability. Dragonite opts to buy back, and I think that's a signal to ease it up and back off from the Roshan pit, because they have hook shot to come in if necessary.
Yeah, they're still going to go for it, though. They're going to, even with the Rocket Flare vision, they think they can finish it off. But here KSI comes in. It's going to be picked up. Radiant gets both. They get the Aegis, they get the kill, and they even bring down KSI here. Illidan on the front line, BK beat up, punching down onto Jo, but he's going to be able to sneak on out of there. And Illidan, not so fortunate on the eastern end. NS taking a lot of hits from Fear. That Desolate doing so much right-click damage. They bring him down as well, and Team W is the sole survivor next to Bane. Just going to head for the hills with Shadowblade active, but they took Roche, they took Aegis on the hero they wanted to. They didn't even have to snatch it up on alternate option like the Prophet, and instead they get this tower kill, they get 3 hero kills, and they just pulled so darn far ahead in this game.
And again, Hand of God comes out too late to save. The Alchemist gets picked off too quickly. And also should mention that Nature's Prophet just picked up his Hex, so he's got that up and running. They've got a 7.5k gold advantage, and more importantly, 10,000 gold lead at 22 minutes, experience lead. At 22 minutes in, their experience is definitely a much, much bigger deal, I feel. You're going to have access to some really, really brutal spells here. So we're going to have a DK move in. Decides not to gun just yet. Of course, there's high that track level is a big... Oh, wow. Again, Bane picked off. The bird's too much. Track, Soul Assumption. Easy kill. I'm just going to continue to pressure this tower. It's getting burned down pretty damn quickly. Chen also Wrath of Nature and Bird Spectre to boot. They clean this up so easily, and now it looks like it's down to Illidan. Can he take some kills? Gets Hex. No, slowed there. And now a hook shot in, trying to slow things down for him. But Virtus Pro now, ASI getting it caught down. Well played. This is the GG call. And EG, they move forward to the next round, and it looks like Virtus Pro will bow out with $1,000 in their fists.
That's essentially it right here. Just carried very effectively by Fear and some great movement. Bambo, yeah, he fed a couple of birds, but it's very, honestly very, very hard to play Visage without doing so. And in this case, he also did so much damage. Set up a lot with the medallion, with a couple of really important stunts to keep heroes alive, and just set up their team very nicely. I love the format of their lineup. Of course, the main weakness was that it didn't have any disables, but it turned out not to be a factor. There weren't that many TP escapes, and they didn't need the lockdown when they could just do so much damage, both physical and magical, to their opposition in a very swift fashion. So, nicely done. Interesting lineup, definitely worked for them with a huge amount of assists on heroes like Venomancer, as well as, of course, the Spectre with her ulti. So, yeah, a lot of action, but yeah, in the end, EG takes it away. This best-of-3 series is claimed by them, and they will advance on forward. So they will be taking on either Alliance or Mousesports in a best-of-3 tomorrow, but that's going to be the first matchup. Is going to be Alliance and Mouse versus Mousesports to decide who will be advancing to Grand Finals and who EG is facing in that lower bracket final. So really, really nice games of Dota today. Especially love the Mousesports matchups, but the EG VB was not too shabby whatsoever. Going to Game 3, of course, EG do claim it, but Virtus Pro, they showed how strong they definitely can be. So excited to see activity from them, of course, in the International upcoming, and of course, they do take away $1,000, so definitely worth the effort there. So, yeah, do you have any other thoughts for the day as a whole, Triumph?
I want to see more Tinker. I really do. That was complete bullshit.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, definitely could see that coming across. I mean, not that many sport the Tinker these days, but those who do wear it proudly because they are just very, very capable individuals, that's for sure. But yeah, this one here, still some interesting picks in just about every game, and it was very, very fun to be able to cast it up for you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning on into the Premier League Season 5 Super Cup. This was day 1, going through 3 best-of-3s, and now we have the end result is Virtus Pro eliminated, and it's Alliance and Mousesports duking out in the winners bracket first thing tomorrow. I believe that's supposed to be at it's 14 o'clock Central European time tomorrow, so check that out, 1400 hours. That is going to be when the action is ongoing. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the presentation we provided for you guys here today. If you guys want to check us out and support us, the Premier League as a whole puts out announcements under the tag of the Thepremierleague on Twitter. As well, I am under twitter.com/blazecasting, and Triumph is over at twitter.com/triumphband. So if you guys enjoyed it, let us know. If you guys want to provide some constructive criticism in order how we can improve, happy to hear that as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Hopefully you guys will be able to join us in the future, especially tomorrow, where a lot of cash is going to be dished out. So first things first, Alliance versus Mousesports. Man, it has been such a long day of Dota today, but happy to see it through. And that's going to be it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and you guys have a good one until tomorrow.